I feel like Michael Penix has great fundamentals. He also doesn't stare down receivers. He goes through his progressions, first read, second read, and then delivers wherever he needs to. And one thing he does exceptionally well is he looks off defenders, even on a screen.
Mike is just super poised, and the dude can make every throw on the football field, whether he's off balance. One thing I think that I've noticed since day one is how he controls his eyes. I'm trying to read him. It's an eye battle, me and him staring at each other, but his eyes are insane. He could be looking the other side of the field, and then he rips it right out. To watch him go in and get to his last read, that's pretty impressive for a young quarterback. He was doing that stuff last year.
What's it been like to get to know Drake London? Do you think he's a top 10 receiver?
Yeah, for sure. Easy.
You feel like he gets underappreciated a little bit?
He won't after this year.
Sorry, Roger. What makes you say that? What gives you that confidence?
I ain't gonna talk too much. It'll show.
You hear that, man? That's them dogs talking. I tell you one thing for sure. My quarterback, he got aura, he got precision, and he got horns, man. Hop into the bird bath, me. What's going on? It's your boy C-Mo the C Mitchell. Checking in with another off-season Falcons Bird Bath by Point Game official. First and foremost, I want to thank all the viewers who check us out on a regular basis. If you love what we're doing over here, hit that like and subscribe button. Please feel free to chime in the comments and let me know what you guys are thinking. Look, guys, we'll get right into it without too much fluff. Right now in the off-season, there's not a whole lot of other new news going on. Padded practices don't start until July 24th, so we're going to have a huge hiatus even finding out what any of these players are made of. But minicamp gave us a few confirmations. I really want to talk about some of the confirmations we got about Michael Penix, but first and foremost, I want to continue on my stint about the defense. Last year, the Falcons were a lot more conservative, and we really saw how much it hindered a lot of our younger players. Both Ruke, Orhorhoro, and Dorlus kind of gave us a little bit more insight as to how they feel a lot more comfortable in this scheme and in this system.
I love the system, man. We have the players for it. We have the bodies for it, the body types and all that. We were more 3-4 based last year, and now we've been emphasizing a more attack style front. Instead of like kind of being a step slower and reading the blocks from in front of you, you're just kind of attacking and figuring that out on the run.
Yeah, this defense is really controlled chaos. Coach Brick gives our chances to take off, but it's time. Hey, listen, you got responsibility. I love that we can do that. I love the versatility of this defense. It's fun.
And I'm actually starting to feel a lot more confident about the roles that they're going to have in this defense. Another thing that I'm hearing is the confidence that the coaches are having in these players. It really means something for you as a player when you know that your coach is trying to carve out a space for you. You have players who are buying into the system. Once the players buy in and they get on board with it, it makes it easier to just install and implement everything that you're trying to do. One common theme I've heard from all the defensive players is that players are playing fast and that everybody's knowing each other's assignments. Knowing each other's assignments and knowing where everybody's going to be on the field allows you to be able to play more confidently.
Allows us to play a lot more free, more with technique, but on a smaller level. It helps us attack the offensive line and the gaps and things, but it makes it clear for the secondary to fill in those gaps for us.
Then the meetings are unbelievable. Not just understand your job, but get a whole understanding of how are we trying to attack as a defense when you can play 4 different coverages and it all looks the same. But if you don't talk about that during the install, then we don't know it should all look the same.
We're going to give you an acronym that anybody who's ever played ball from middle school to college has heard their coaches say, which is KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. It's not an insult to your players. We got intelligent guys out here. What that means is there's going to be a lot less reading and trying to figure out what the guys are doing and just going out and dictating to the offense. Speed and athleticism is where most of your strengths are when you're a younger player. Not overthinking it, not having to figure out what's going on, not allowing the offense to be able to trick them. Really plays to your strengths of your younger players. And then it allows them to get a lot more experience and playing time to be able to be on the field, to be able to adjust to different situations. It's a really good sign that the coaches are doing that right now. But you guys let me know in the comments what you think. And also, it's really common that we're hearing other players having confidence in each other as well, too.
When Kaden walks up in the A-gap, I know that they're going to slide to Kaden. I got one-on-one here.
So we are a young team. We have a lot of youth, but we have the right vets in each position that will tell us what to do.
I think we got dogs all around the room.
And although we are a young team, man, we got some cats that's coming, so I'm really excited.
We have players who definitely want to rise to the occasion and are looking to take on new leadership roles and really looking to fill that void of Grady Jarrett. I love the competitiveness that we have out here, and we see that the coaches created a competitive culture, but now the players are buying into that.
We all know the opportunity at hand, and we all know it's time to establish, a new faces in there, new names in there. So I feel like we all kind of accepted the challenge, and we're just going to all step up.
I feel like everybody is just stepping up and just wants to be that guy. I feel like once you have that, everybody wants to be that one guy. It brings a whole competitive nature. It's a lot more fun. We just out here playing football.
We even see it with Drake London talking about A.J. Terrell and how they both make each other better as players out there.
I mean, it's iron sharpens iron at the end of the day, and he's a hell of a player. He's a lockdown corner. I mean, you can look at all his stats, everything like that, and then too, he's a very, very good person, somebody who wants to work as well, and we piggyback off of each other with that.
When you have players that have that confidence in each other, it makes you not want to let the guy down next to you, and it just really hypes you up. It makes you want to run through walls for those guys. Spent a lot of time talking about Jalon Walker and James Pearce Jr. It's not much more we know about them playing, but we do know that the vets are very intrigued with these guys, are very impressed with their maturity, which is a good thing because James Pearce coming out of college, they said there was a knock on him for his maturity. There wasn't any such thing with Jalon Walker, but it sounds like we got two guys who are definitely natural leaders.
Connected front is the best front, and the way we attack the ball together is what we do well. You know, you hone in on your technique and your fundamentals and where you place your hands and your footwork. Things like that is what you make up for the speed, and once training camp comes, you just put everything all together.
And Jalon Walker, I mean, we knew that this guy was a baller, but when you listen to him talk, he sounds like a guy who has it together and he's gonna be prepared, gonna watch film, he's gonna do all the little things. Really sounds like a really self-aware guy. And guys like that, they kind of have a sixth sense on the field. Their instincts start to build in a little bit better. And when they say they want to have a home for him in edge and letting him just get acclimated to one spot and then be able to use him in other spots, is going to be really huge just to kind of build his instincts up. That was one of the knocks on him, is that he was a jack of all trades, but he wasn't a master of anything. And a lot of people see him as a tweener, but I see him more as a hybrid player. And I said this before, but the difference between a tweener and a hybrid is a tweener is a guy that kind of does some things good in one area, and he can do some things good in another area, but he has weaknesses in both of them. With Jalon Walker, I don't see a lot of weakness. He's a guy that I think can set the edge. I think he can win with one-on-ones, and I think that he can drop into coverage and kind of keep it where you don't have to bring an extra defensive back in sometimes. So that's going to be really huge. You could tell from his interview that he's very huge on fundamentals, and that's something that's huge in this league. That's something that's going to keep him on the field early and often and late. And that's what you want out of a first-round pick. We have guys who are more about walking the walk rather than talking the talk. And that's one thing that I really loved that I was hearing out of James Pearce.
Everybody want to win. Everybody got the common goal. We're not trying to be flamboyant about it. That's the type of guy I am. I'm not really flamboyant. I just want to let the tape and everything else around me speak louder than all the words I say. So.
He's a man of few words, and I really respect that. But you can see that he's very focused.
It looks like you've been hitting the weight room a little bit since you've been here the last few weeks. Have you been putting on some size?
Oh yeah, I put on a little bit of weight. It happened more so naturally, like during the combine process and stuff. During the combine process, I came light into the combine, but I was already trajecting towards this way. It's just getting used to playing at the weight.
I see a few other people who think that James Pearce Jr. is probably going to lead the team in sacks this year, which I think is a very viable option. I've seen other people who think that he's going to probably be the most valuable defensive player or the most valuable defensive rookie on this team. You let me know in the comments who you guys think is going to be the most valuable defensive rookie on our team. Will it be Billy Bowman? Will it be Jalon Walker? Will it be James Pearce Jr.? Will it be Xavier Watts? Now, Falcons fans are very passionate. I saw a guy in our comments when I talked last time about how we were going to have our front and our nickel packages with our front six. He thought that James Pearce Jr. was better than Jalon Walker, was going to start over. One thing he asked me about is who do I think our projected penny front is going to be. And I believe that that's probably going to be Ruke Orhorhoro, Brandon Dorlus, Zach Harrison, Leonard Floyd, and Jalon Walker. And then you had Kaden Elliss. So what exactly is a penny set? As you could probably tell, it is a subset that is an adjustment to them having 3 or more receivers on the field at the same time. Most teams are running a variation where they have 2 dedicated defensive linemen, 2 outside rush linebackers as the defensive ends, along with 2 linebackers. So it's really a 2-4 look. Now, football is a simple game, but very strategic. Offenses having more receivers on the field, defenses naturally think that they're going to pass more. What offenses naturally try to do is catch you off guard by running the ball more. Your penny front is essentially a 3-3 with the 2 outside linebackers walked up and only 1 middle linebacker in the middle. This is an answer to teams trying to run the ball a lot. Usually you want your 3 best defensive linemen on the field who can stop the run but also rush the passer. It's really going to depend on who are our best defensive linemen in camp who show that they can show that versatility and be stout against the run, because teams are going to definitely try you now that you have a lighter box with only 6 in there. You need those 3 defensive linemen to be able to not 1 gap and not 2 gap, but kind of 1.5 gap. They have one gap, but they have to squeeze and condense it and kind of create a pile and condense running lanes and bounce everything outside. That's the reason why they want to have edge guys that are outside linebackers. And the reason that I say that Jalon Walker is probably going to be in that subset is because he's probably a better outside linebacker run defender than Pearce Jr. is, who's probably a better just pure pass rusher at this point in time. But I think they might maybe shy away from doing this penny front quite as much, and they're probably going to lean more to that 2-4, specifically because of Divine Diablo. Coaching staff evidently loves him a lot during this training camp. Of course, all of this is going to depend on what happens once they put the pads on July 24th. I want to talk a little bit more about Michael Penix. We've talked about him a lot during the offseason already, but I really love the aura and some of the confidence that we're seeing from him.
So to watch him come in this year, be a little bit more vocal. He's actually talking a little bit junk to our defense a little bit as well, and it's been good to see him step into that role.
The reporters asked him about Drake London and if he was an overlooked receiver, but he said he won't be after this year. When they asked him why he said that, he said he's going to let his game play for him. You see players talk like that, you know that they get it, and they're competing with themselves, as we heard A.J. Terrell say last week. And I think that's a similar thing with Michael Penix. He's definitely a natural leader, and he does a lot of the things that I was telling you that he did earlier as well, too, as evidenced by what Jesse Bates says about him.
I always ask him, like, hey, do you see me? Do you see me right there or not? And he's just like, yeah, I see you. So he's just an ultimate pro. He'll continue to get better every single day. Like I said, that's QB1.
He talks about how he's got really good movement with his eyes, and that's something that even veteran quarterbacks, as I said before, have a little bit of trouble with. And I love how Bijan Robinson talks about the athleticism that's a little bit sneaky with Michael Penix. A lot of people think he's slow, but he says he's pretty fast.
If you have a guy that can run and take a linebacker with him, and that only opens up for us so much more. So, you know, if Mike can run now, like he run a 4.4. Like people think he's slow, but he actually fast. Like the dude's explosive. So, you know, if he runs this year, like I'm gonna love it because it'll help me and Ty, and it'll help us a lot. But then even if he scrambles out, like that helps us too, man.
I think that as Michael Penix gets a little bit more comfortable in our offense, he's going to take a little bit more chances and probably freestyle a little bit more and take what the defense gives him. And oftentimes, they'll give you that 5-yard cushion and dare you to run for 5 or 10 yards. And I think that's something that he can do as long as he starts to get down and he doesn't take a lot of hits. And I'm okay with him doing it. All these guys on this level can do something amazing that your average, ordinary person can't do. But a lot of it is about what they got in here. What's on the inside? What are they made out of? You know, how are they going to be in adversity? Have they learned their lessons from things? Do they repeat the same mistakes? And I think that that's something that we get from Michael Penix. You could tell that he's definitely a real true leader. He's a coach's kid who was raised up real stern and tough by his dad. He talks about how his dad held him accountable for a lot of things. And you really love that. That's something that was instilled in him.
Growing up, you know, he was always my coach, you know, but he wasn't no just player's coach. Like, my dad, he benched me. Like, if I ain't playing good, tell me I'm stinking up the field. Like, all-star baseball game, he was the all-star coach. All-star baseball game, I had to sit the bench, not in the dugout, but in the stands because I couldn't find my belt on game day. He was just teaching me discipline. You know, just you got to be able to take care of your stuff. Whenever game day comes, you got to have everything. You got to be ready.
Now, a lot of people get upset and they say, don't have too high of hopes with this defense. What, 23rd, 24th last year, maybe 22nd total. We gave up a decent amount of points per game. But I'm expecting that if this Falcons defense can be a top 15 defense, maybe 12, 13, that's not great necessarily. Being 16th or 17th total isn't necessarily great. But I don't think we need a major defensive turnaround because we have a really good offense this year. And one huge component of that is going to be Bijan Robinson.
I don't even know how to explain it. Like, if he touched the ball every play and the defense knew every play, like, we still going to make big-time plays. Like, he's just that guy. Like, he's a guy that when you go to, like, a little league game, and it's always that one kid that stand out, that never get tackled. He score every time he touches the ball. That's him, but in the NFL.
He's a guy who's really expanding his game, and he's doing a lot more film study and trying to do a lot more of the intangibles in the offseason and be a little bit more of a leader on this team.
You know, it only helps me out to know, like, how I can set their blocks up, how I can set their movements up. I study their movements all the time. Like, I go home, and I'll see every single lineman, see how they move.
And he reached out early to Pearce Jr. and Jalon Walker. just to kind of get some routes in, welcome them to the team, give them a little bit of advice and things to watch out for in this NFL. And you love to see that.
Just being a mentor to him, continue to be a mentor to him, even James, like understanding like he's in the same position and making sure that they're right at all times is my main goal.
I find it fascinating because it's not the same position group at all. It's actually on the other side of the ball. So why do you find it that you want to be mentors to those guys?
Yeah, because I mean, obviously I want them to be the best players at their positions. I want them to be the best players in the NFL. This year, I mean, one day, like, yes, like, but I want them to strive for those goals, like, right now.
There's a lot of camaraderie on this team, but when you have people that hold each other accountable, it works dividends. I believe that Drake London's going to have a major year this year, for sure, as Michael Penix said. But I think that Darnell Mooney is a guy that might be poised for an even bigger year. One of the things that I love about our team is that even though we might have a number one in certain spots, our second guy and our other options can really make other teams pay. And Darnell Mooney is a guy who can win his one-on-ones if they slide coverage to Drake London. He plays a full and complete route tree as well, too. He can go deep. He'll come across the middle. He'll make short, sure-handed catches. He can even take your little screens and do something with that as well, too. There's not really anything on the field he's not able to run. Even though he might be a little bit smaller in his build than some of these bigger guys, he's a guy with a lot of speed that can really take the top off the defense. A lot of people are saying they want to see us with another wide receiver, but I think that Mooney can actually go over 1,000 yards this year. You can't just only double team Drake London. If you do, they're going to make you pay on the other side. Now, this isn't something profound that I'm coming up with. Our number two is going to be better than a lot of people's number two cornerback. And if their number one and number two cornerbacks are as good as our number one and two, I don't think that they're going to be better than our 3 and 4 receivers. So it'd be really exciting to see what we do with this team this year. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What do you think Michael Penix is going to be this year? And who do you think is going to be our breakout most valuable player on the offense this year, aside from Bijan Robinson? Because as Michael Penix said, if they gave Bijan the ball every play, we'd still be a deadly offense. All right, guys, that's our show for today. Stay tuned as we hit you with more off-season news. Added practices actually start on the 24th of July. But stay tuned until then, and I'll give you my opinions and thoughts on anything else. C. Mitchell, Falcons Bird Bath, checking out for Point Game Official.